All right. Um, well, the discussion is exactly what is on is on the title. So Doctor Disrespect has officially, after lots of rumors, has officially signed on with Rumble in some equity deal to be the face and the brains behind Rumble Gaming, which has been met largely with varying criticisms. Obviously, with his supporters, and then those who are against him, and even essentially against, not even against Rumble, but have their apprehensions of Rumble. So it's an interesting thing. Jason JJJ Rumble will regret this in the end. Change my mind. Um, I you know I don't I'm not sure. I'm not sure where. I don't know about regret. Maybe it's regret. I would almost label it as buyer's remorse. So the full details of the contract I couldn't tell you. I know it's an equity deal. So basically he has every what's the word I'm looking for? Every incentive to do what he can to make Rumble Gaming a powerhouse. Because the more of a powerhouse it is, the more money they make, the more he stands to make from it. Now, I'm sure his deal is front loaded with cash. There's no way it's not. He would be stupid to not take some sort of check in the meantime. But my issue with this has always been, well, these deals have never worked. Platforms have tried to sign big names, and the platform itself has either failed miserably, fallen into obscurity, or it like the creators just leave and they go somewhere else. So I don't. What is it that Rumble thinks they have here that all these other ones haven't tried, or whatever? Again, I like I like what Rumble has tried to do. I don't put every bit of stock into them, but I enjoy their tenacity. I enjoy watching them fight the good fight. The question becomes, and this is the gamble, right? Anytime you give someone a check and say, I need you to be a part of this, I need you to be the face of this, you are gambling on that person to provide staying power to your platform. Look at Twitch and the massive L of a disaster that has become. Yeah, Twitch is a good example. Well, I think Twitch is an example of they they got too big and forgot who they were, right? So there's a chance to make Rumble the way Twitch was before Amazon bought it. Um, but the question becomes, how do you separate Rumble Gaming from Rumble? Because the people who the people who you need on your platform to make it big don't want to come to Rumble because it's a lot of conservative content that they are very uncomfortable with. You have to separate the politics from the game. And in the way that, like, I don't want to go to a site and be inundated with just political propaganda from any side. When I go to it, like, when you go to Twitch back in the day, it was games. There's a category later on that you could talk about these things, but Rumble needs a way to direct people to Rumble Gaming. And they need to make Rumble Gaming the very best version of what Twitch used to be. And Dr. Disrespect can pull a large number of people over to that site. There's no doubt about it. He has sway. He has a way to influence people. There's no doubt about it. Regardless of what you think he did in his past, he still can influence people. The question becomes, what is the staying power once his exclusivity is done? Because like every contract, there are terms and there is a timeline of that contract. And what happens when that contract ends and Rumble's just not producing um, what they promised? Or what happens if he's not? You can't separate the two, not with the all-in-one premium package. Politics always gets injected. Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest problems, Jason, is that you Rumble Gaming needs to be its own thing. I've said this for a while. They need to Their infrastructure is not great at the moment. Like, I don't know, I hate to like even compare to something like Kick, but Kick, essentially pays for Twitch's look. But the thing is, you need, I don't know. So I don't know how much you use Rumble, Jason, but and this is something small and minor, but when you go to set your category on Rumble, it's only what they populate it with. So there's a primary category and a subcategory. And those categories are what they manually set. So if the game you're playing doesn't exist, you can't set your game to be that. Whereas like Twitch has like a database that has all games that are out. So I could be playing some random obscure game and I could put myself in that category. And you can't even manually put into Rumble like, oh, I'm playing this game, which is not good either. It's not good to let people set um, their own manual categories, because then you end up with 800 different categories of the same game, different variations. So I want to see the platform succeed. I don't want to see anyone, but I don't know how Dr. Disrespect. I don't see how he changes Rumble for the better. I just think it's going to be a big loss for for Rumble, unfortunately. I think they're going to be pouring a lot of money into someone who's entertaining. There's no doubt he's entertaining. I use Rumble for 5 main people: Rhoda Crowder, comedian Nick DiPaolo, and 2 others. Well, and again, you could get your main, I don't know. All the other sites do it better. And that's the unfortunate thing. Is that all the other sites do it better. All the other people are there. Don't mistake me for saying, well, you shouldn't like try something new. Like, all the issue is like Twitch and Google or YouTube, those two were the first of their kind. Well, they did it best. Like, they were one of very few that did it and like did it the best. It's hard to compete against perennial powerhouses like that. Not to say it can't be done, but it's like almost a vertical climb with like, it's like someone's throwing boulders at you, and yeah, the lack of notifications is tough. I know the mobile app is pretty good at notifying, but email ones I don't like really ever get. And honestly, I mean, and a lot of the other stuff is lack of integration with other things. The other apps and other services don't want to integrate with Rumble because it is a free speech platform. They can't advertise. So It's like, you know, and I actually think I think Rumble has some, like, they're, it's not fully a free speech platform anyway. Like, the only way they're on their app store is because they do have, you know, certain things that you can and cannot do on the app. Like, so there are restrictions on Rumble that people, I think, I mean, I've heard people complain about in general anyway. Like, oh, I thought this was a free speech platform. It's like, yeah, well, you can't be on the app store if you don't have some form of like speech moderation. They just won't let you be on there. Which I don't, that shit doesn't bother me, quite honestly. I mean, you shouldn't allow, I mean, in some small respect, I think that people just need to watch their fucking mouth. Which isn't a hard ask for adults. Maybe for fucking children, but just watch your mouth. That's all. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't see the outcome being very good, and I know we'd have, you know, we'll have to wait a few years to see how it goes, but I think people are expecting a big noticeable change. You know, I've seen people who are hard into everything, into Rumble, like already being like, oh, we're already seeing the Champions Club. They're already supporting. No doubt. Um, no doubt that his fans are moving over. You're gonna see this sort of like bump in viewership. You're gonna see people, especially the Champions Club people, looking at streams like this one if it were on Rumble, like, oh, people are talking about the doc. They're talking about, he's talking about the doc. Like, let's go see, like, what is he saying? They're gonna gauge the temperature. They're gonna gauge the room on what Rumble is like. What are they going to be accepting of them? Um, this is all like a natural progression, and then you'll start to see it as people realize, like, oh, this is really easy to use or it's not easy to use. You're going to see people leave or stay. Um, even his hardcore fans, like, they might not stick around. Mobile app sucks. I constantly have to check and always get booted if I go minimum screen. People tell me to update the app, uninstall and reinstall, and it doesn't work. And that's the thing. You shouldn't have to do that constantly. That's ridiculous. If your solution is to constantly uninstall and reinstall, your app sucks. Hey, no green rocks. What's up, brother? I expect a bump and a fizzle out personally. I want them to succeed, but they won't if they take the kick route. Yeah, and that's kind of what we were saying. Again, signing big names doesn't work. It doesn't work. And maybe this equity deal is different because it incentivizes him to work harder to make the platform better. If the platform makes more money, he makes more money. But it's a direct win, right? It's not like saying, oh, well, you'll get a bigger pay if you get more people here. Like, this directly ties him to like more money. It's pretty much impossible to watch on my phone, so I can't even cover anything. Yeah, I would, again, I would love. I I find Dr. Disrespect extremely entertaining. I really, really do. I think he's hilarious. I think whatever happened to him behind the scenes is not great. Does not bode well for him. I'm glad he's finding a home and some livelihood. He is an entertainer through and through. That is undeniable. And like so many people in the performing arts, it he's got skeletons, dude. What's up, Krabby? Oh man, he is top tier entertainment. It is incredible at how well he plays his character. And I mean, there's just not many, there's not anyone else really like him. And I'm sure there's someone else out there that wears a wig and is eccentric or whatever, but he plays that so well. And he's good at video games to boot. So It's not like he's bad. I don't know. Maybe he gets carried by people, but I mean, he seems to be doing a lot on his own. Well, it's not surprising. Like, if anyone's surprised by this move, they shouldn't be. Rumble has been looking for a way to make itself known to people. Quite honestly, like, this is step one of 8 million. And what people don't really understand is that this needs to be a multi-pronged approach. And I don't even know if Rumble fully understands it. I think they do to a point, but like, this is so multifaceted, in my opinion, that it just, like, there needs to be a lot of people. It's an all hands on deck move. You need Doc because he's going to bring faces in, but you also need repairs and upgrades to infrastructure, like, big time, mega. Like, this is the long game. Like, in some respects, I don't think Rumble realizes that they need to be playing the long game. They're trying to become YouTube over, and oh yeah, throwing money at the problem isn't good. Yeah, so that's exactly what I mean, Krabby, is that, like, this will work, and that's not, they're not playing the long game right now. They're playing the short game, which will give you a boost in viewership, but again, it's about staying power. Platforms win and move to the next level because they create staying power with their audience. Why should I stay here? As of right now, there is no reason to stay on Rumble because it offers nothing. It doesn't offer anything more than what YouTube does. Like, I'm sorry, that's it. Step one should be rising the people on your platform. Let people know you can start from nothing and succeed on Rumble. It's my biggest issue with them. Yeah, and here's I disagree with you a little bit, No Green Rocks, and what I disagree with is, like, I always see people say, like, oh, they need to, or they'll say, like, Rumble has an obligation to its smaller creators, and I think there's two things there that, like, one, I don't think that platforms are obligated to do anything with their small creators. I think small creators are obligated to work hard the same way everyone else did to get where they are. Like, if I get rated by a big streamer, like, I'm only going to retain the people. I'm only going to retain people if I'm entertaining, if I'm offering something that they can't get somewhere else, or if I'm not doing something a little bit better than someone else. I don't like, Rumble gives an avenue by allowing you to monetize right away, which is good, but their ad revenue is broken. Like, nobody's advertising with them anyway. But like, how am I supposed to get Rumble ramps if no one's watching? Or how do I know that their statistics are right or their analytics are right when I have, 75 people watching but 0 interaction? I'm something like 100 channels on YouTube. I watched one person on Rumble and he stopped. You are right, there's no obligation, but that also means there's no reason to give them a shot. Two-way street, my friend. I'm not advertising foot cream on my shows. Yeah, it's true. I don't know, maybe that's the way. Foot cream. Everyone's got them stanky feet. Yeah. I certainly think that there should be it's not that there shouldn't be avenues for people, but like, I guess my point is that YouTube the algorithm puts people on your page according to like what you watch, and based on their it's the algorithm on YouTube in many ways works on a merit-based system. If you are if you are if your videos are catching a lot of traction and they look good and you're working hard, you're going to be on people's For You pages that are looking for that content. So the incentive is work harder, make your stuff better, put it out when people want to see it. If it were incumbent upon the platform to manually do that, like then you get into this person's playing favoritism, right? Oh, Rumble's only looking at this person, right? They're only looking at small creators. They're not boosting the big ones. For example, G&G is growing and still considered small content creation. They should have reached out to them instead of always going for the top tier. Yeah, you could, like, again, you could do that. That is something that you could definitely do. But again, if and this is why I think, like, it doesn't matter who it is, whether it's G&G, Dr. Disrespect, whoever, buying people is not the answer. Like, and this goes to the infrastructure. Like, you need solid algorithmic infrastructure in order for people to be seen. And beyond that, the platform needs to be known. I mean, there's people on Twitter who are like, what's a Rumble? Like, I have no idea what that is. I even said when Camelot was getting into driving, and he got Tim Pool to get him to sponsor a car for him, and he got Ethan Van Sciver to sponsor a car for him. I said, this is where Rumble needs to be. They need to put their fucking logo on someone's car. Like, get out there, throw some money at being seen by tens of thousands of people every single weekend, or once or twice a week. Like, you need to be seen on places other than X, because as many people as there are on X, it's not enough. That's not the entire world. You need normal people, even if they're normal conservative people who aren't online all the time, who know that, oh, there's an alternative to YouTube. Oh, I can go to this website and there's still video content here. Sweet. And I've seen, the Quartering has been, he put out like regular non-political content. That's great. You need more companies doing that, more people doing that, for sure. Unfortunately, the platform itself has made it if that only certain types of content are being pushed. I still use YouTube for learning. Rumble needs to make themselves relevant enough to circumvent YouTube. Yeah, which might not ever happen, because honestly, YouTube is backed by Google, which Google's everywhere. I notice YouTubers don't pay as much attention to their Rumble chat as YouTube chat, which is another hurdle. This is true. This is true. I mean, it's, as someone who has done this a while, the more places you have chat, the harder it is. And obviously, the majority of the audience is over on YouTube. And quite honestly, I would be willing to bet, and one of the reasons that they are more concentrated over on YouTube is that's where they're monetizing. They're looking for super chats. They don't want to miss the super chats to shout them back out, and they're not missing the Rumble rants or anything, but YouTube is their moneymaker. So unless the audience completely abandons YouTube and says, no, we're going over to Rumble, and that's where we're supporting 100%, or at least a majority. Because if their YouTube live streams or content become a ghost town, and their Rumble chats are booming and blowing up, well, then that's where their attention will be. But even people within the circle of like fellowship and content creation are still way on the fence about Rumble and what it is, what it's capable of. again, there's a lot of issues that people want to see solved. And they're getting there. But but having, and they've supported me, like Rick Rosella was, he's been in my chats before, and he he's donated, and it was awesome. Like they support people. They do support people monetarily, and it's great. But what we need more than just money thrown at us is a system that works incredibly well, flawlessly, 90% of the time. Perhaps make videos for Rumble and then edit for YouTube. If people want the full video, you can push them to Rumble. You could do that. But again, this is where it's difficult, because splitting your audience it's a double-edged sword. This is why there's benefits to just being available everywhere and having your content up. But if you're only putting out partial content on one platform and then saying, oh, if you want the full thing, go over here, like you're either paywalling it, or it's a higher barrier to entry, which is going to cause a lot of people to not want to go to it. I mean, that's speaking for me. Like, I don't want to go multiple places often. Like, I'd rather just have it available to people. Like, oh, you want to watch on YouTube? Great. You want to watch on Rumble? Great. Either way, you'll get the same content. As a viewer, I see Rumble as YouTube just inferior. Free speech is great, but we can always bypass the filter with creativity. Yeah, and that's I agree. That's why I say, like, free speech, running on just like, oh, solely this is a free speech platform, will only get you so far. Hey, Kenzo, what's up, brother? Yeah, and that's the thing. The thing is most people, what you see from a lot of people nowadays is that they're a hammer and everything's a nail. And the free speech thing will only go so far. You will only be, and people scream, my free speech, my free speech. Yeah, like, and I said it earlier, you could just be an adult. Like, you don't, there are ways around it. There are ways around it. Is it ideal? No. Do I want these companies to restrict topics that can be spoken about? Absolutely not. But, there's plenty of people who made it through a lot of these things that, yo, what's up, Canon Hotep? Good to see you, brother. There's a lot of people who made it through the past 8 years that, they were able to talk about things and they didn't get demonetized. And to be quite honest, most small channels are not getting demonetized over their videos. It's the big channels who want to talk about stuff that are getting hit big time. Like, there's certain words you just can't fucking say. Like, if you're going to drop a hard R, N-word, then I don't know what to say. Like, you're white, and you probably expect some recourse, but you're gonna get taken down if there's people there to view it, right? So if one of your videos hits it big, and it's got some contentious shit in it, there's a higher probability it's gonna get reported, and that you could possibly get taken down. Just don't say stupid shit. And I don't even know why it needs to be said. I don't know why it needs to be said. Well, a lot go out there of their way to get canceled. They know that is where the woke bucks are. Yeah, I mean, making yourself a martyr is just stupid. Like, this stuff doesn't require martyrs. It requires a brain. and people can do a lot more good when they use their head and they're able to even subvert the rules. It's almost like an odd form of civil disobedience, you know. YouTube says you can't talk about this, but you can. But if you're still able to discuss it without explicitly like discussing it, but people know what you're talking about, well, that's perfect. They can't restrict that. They can't restrict words that don't explicitly say something. They're just saying, don't say X, Y, and Z. Well, I'll say X minus 2, Y minus 1, and Z minus 4. Well, it still says the same-ish thing, but, well, for some, being what we consider rude is them being themselves. So that's where Rumble has an edge, I suppose. Right, and to each their own. A lot of times I get put on yellow before I start my stream. I was like that happened a couple times for me. You're Jewish, you'll be fine. I Yeah, it really depends, Hotep, on like the content you do. I know you guys in yourself, you tend to do stuff that's a little bit edgier. You're talking about topics that are front and center, political, cultural, that you know it's one it and this is the thing about it all. It's never personal. Like, as far as I see it, I don't see it as personal. Google, YouTube, whoever are protecting their advertising dollars, which drives people insane, right? They care more about their money, of course, because if someone came in your house and was finding ways to take money from you, you would do everything you could to stop it. And if advertisers are pulling out because they're like, oh, I don't want to be involved with that content. You guys are pushing, content like this. The bigger issue with all the quote unquote censorship is when government officials are mandating that YouTube censor, right? Like, that's where First Amendment violations are no good. And when there's evidence of that, we need to speak up on it. We need to talk about it. Because government's not allowed to interfere with your political speech or speech in general. But advertising dollars, like, in some respect, companies got to protect that because that's how they make money and they're able to pay you money. And if advertisers pull out, then there's no money to give, or at least not in the same way. But again, the influence from political figures is what we all need to fight against, because if they're saying, if they're going to Google executives or YouTube executives and saying, we can't have that information being spread on your platform because it's dangerous. I'm sorry, that's, tech companies need to be smart enough to go, I'm sorry, but that's a clear violation of the Constitution. We're not allowed to, government officials aren't allowed to step in and regulate speech. Like, that's, sorry, it's not incumbent upon you to do such a thing. Matter of fact, it flies in the face of everything that America believes in. So it's an interesting thing. This whole Dr. Disrespect thing has been very interesting to watch. It's been very interesting to watch people's reactions to it. And I don't know. I would like to see. I don't want anyone to. I want everyone to make money. I want everyone to be a part of something big. And I want to see Rumble. I do want to see Rumble succeed. There's a lot of people who have staked their entire claim of content in Rumble. And I don't want to see those people demonetized. And I think that's the other thing. And something I think about. Well, doesn't matter. I don't know. we likely will see a lot of we'll see a big influx in Rumble's usage, and what further what you're going to see, unfortunately or fortunately, whatever, you're going to see them say, look at all this big positive change, look what happened. Again, the problem is we are not going to know the effect that Doc is having on all of this until his exclusivity is up. Once Dr. Disrespect is no longer obligated to be a part of Rumble, we will see if he stays or resigns, or if the platform continues to grow the way it did. That is when you're going to see the real results, and not now. He is tied to Rumble, so every time he goes live, those 25,000 people that he had on YouTube every day, they're going to show up to Rumble, because that's where the Champions Club is now. So, and that's the unfortunate part. There's nothing to really say. He's part owner now. Wouldn't it be weird if he just bailed? Sure, but he's honestly though, Static, business people leave their companies all the time. They sell their shares if something's not working out. That's what, like, it is unique. This whole thing is unique for that reason, because while I'm sure there's some cash front loaded to this deal, how far will it go? How much of a change is he going to truly make? And will it be enough for him to say, okay, we need to do more, or we can do more? You know? Why is this person so far up my ass? That's why, like, I want him to succeed in making Rumble gaming really, really good, but it needs to. There's a lot that needs to happen, and I hope he's up for the challenge. I know he has. I know there's the possibility is 100% there. I think if someone could do it, it could probably be him. What would be interesting is he has any risk on actually helping things get better. Yeah, right. Well, and that's the thing. Yo, what up, Mike? Maybe you just said it, Static, but like, he has everything to gain and nothing to lose from this exchange. And I hope that he able to create some form of success with them. Hey, no Green Rocks, you be good, brother. We really appreciate you stopping by. It's really good to see you, man. Holy shit, it's on here. Yeah, he has all the reward, but none of the risk. And again, that's me talking. I don't know the full details of his deal or what he has put into it. I suppose if he really fails, if he has, there's something tied to to the company. He has some money invested in the company. So if he doesn't do anything positive, that money is poof, like lost to the ether. YouTube and Rumble has another competitor on the block, Twitter. I don't know, man. I think Elon's in a similar situation here that, like, a lot of people. He needs to find someone to run, like, truly run the video side of it and live streaming side of it. He keeps saying that he wants to make it a live streaming platform as well, or video content. I don't foresee it happening right now. I don't think they're any threat to YouTube or Rumble. I don't know what you've already covered, but Rumble really needs to be investing in improving the platform and not signing games. Yeah, that's one of the first things I said. It's never been a proven strategy. The difference here is he's got an equity stake in this. So if the company does, if what he does makes the company improve, then he stands to gain from it immediately. So to that end, it's a bit different. I'm sure, without knowing any of the specific details, that he did get a check to sign on. I'm sure it was to the tune of a few $1 million. I would be willing to bet. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But that would just be my guess. You need some incentive to just sign, like a sign-on bonus. But yeah, no, infrastructure is their weakest point with live streaming. And I don't, what I don't care about is latency with chat. I don't care how long it takes for, like, I remember back in the day where it would be like 1 minute delay on, like, your live stream and chat. So, like, it's near real time. It's not a big deal to me. That's not a selling point. Not a selling point at all. Everyone is already on Twitter. They just need a dedicated video section. They do. I think Twitter could do something. Right now, they're not a visible threat. They're not a visible threat to anyone, Krabby. Rumble has a multi-billion-dollar evaluation, and they have less than 200 employees they really need to hire. Yeah, I mean, I hope there's nothing I want more than to see Rumble succeed and become another valued video platform. Like, I don't think that YouTube should have a monopoly on that. I think that's bad. Talk has a massive following that will go with them. The only way Rumble grows is creators being exclusive. Chat goes to where they are used to going. If given the choice, most viewers stay on YouTube. Yeah, for sure. But I'm sure that, Doc is done with YouTube. There's no way, given his deal, that he's able to multi-stream. He's going to be exclusive. His chat will be there. My issue is, Brahma, you weren't here, but my issue is the staying power. If after the end of his deal, he decides that this wasn't worth it and he picks up and leaves, then what? Do people stay with Rumble? Do they care? Does this influence enough people to start their own content exclusively on Rumble? Again, the big name signing just is not a proven method of anything, which is one of my issues with all of this. Yeah, the Google monopoly for sure. Chris said that he will do the whole multi-stream, then do the last 2 hours of Rumble for Champions. Wait, say that again? Oh, he will do the whole multi-stream, then do the last 2 hours of Rumble. Oh, I see. Is that the answer though? Like, this is where I think. Don't get me wrong. The Midweek Hump, we used to do the Rumble exclusive. We used to do the after show. And I wonder, like, is splitting the audience, is that the move? Paywalling pushing some content. Is that the smart? I've never really liked that idea. But again, here I sit, you know. If you buy Doc, you make sure he is exclusive. I don't know. That's what I thought, but no, it should all be only Rumble then paywall. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how he. I mean, maybe the long game is Chris is playing the, hey, we're the better company and we allow multi-streaming, but there is some sort of exclusivity here. I mean, I do know that, well, at least with Rumble Studio is no longer giving ad revenue based on like your YouTube statistics. So I don't know. That's the other thing that Dr. Disrespect could put some time into, is that fucking Rumble Studio, man. They need to upgrade that so badly. Their future is Rumble paid subscriptions, and they are heavily focused on that. So I did see that it was, yeah, the Rumble Premium thing. I'm interested in the roadmap of that, because I'm definitely interested in the roadmap of what Rumble Premium is going to be. I haven't looked into it, and that's my fault. It works, I think. People will move over to Rumble, but their audience doesn't finish watching their chosen stream and then move somewhere else on Rumble. Yeah. I mean, I guess it would be their version of like YouTube Premium. Is that right? YouTube Premium, just no ads and probably some sort of exclusive content on there. Like it probably bundles in movies or TV or something like that. There's a lot of potential. Like I'm not a Rumble hater at all. I'm not a Rumble hater. I'm cautiously optimistic is what I am in regards to them. I want to believe that this is all going to be great and it's going to work out. But and I understand the long game. I understand this is going to take time. And in the time that they've been around and relevant, they've been doing pretty good things. Rumble Premium should fully integrate with locals, but all be housed at the Rumble domain. That could make it interesting. Yes, I agree with that. I agree with that totally. Locals to me is like the smaller creator version that could really utilize that sort of thing, especially artists. I mean, big streamers too, but the big stuff is like they're be like folded into like Rumble itself. But locals, in a lot of ways, I think is like the smaller channel people, where he multi-streams and pumps his Rumble channel, so people know where to go. After 6 months or so, it goes exclusive. Doc has a reason to get people over there. Stock. Yeah. No, totally. And that's one of the biggest differences between this deal and many of the others is that, he has a real stake in this with near zero risk in it. Like, he has everything to gain from the success of this platform. It's going to take time to get it to where it needs to be. But like, I hope the order of operations is there. Like that's my thing. You need to fix the back end. You're leaving as soon as he ends the stream. Everyone he watches on YouTube, yeah. I wish all the alternatives were better. Rumble, Odyssey, Kick, having competitors would make everything healthier. Yeah, totally. competition, competition, sorry, healthy competition breeds healthy innovation. Like, if you don't have healthy competition, there's no reason to innovate. Why would you innovate anything? You're the only one. You just gotta do your thing. Oh man, honestly, got completely screwed over by the feds. They could have been awesome. I don't know much about like what happened with Odyssey. My thing with Odyssey has always just been I have always just well I did live stream to Odyssey for a bit, um, but yeah, then I just went with Rumble and YouTube, and then everything was syncing to Odyssey. You know, uh, I think there's a lot of good that can come from the partnership. I am like I said, I'm cautiously optimistic on what it could do for Rumble, and I know people don't particularly care for Doctor Disrespect in light of all the allegations of what happened or his his admittal of it all. Um, but you know, it certainly is what it is right now. More than anything, what I would like to see, I want to see Rumble Gaming be not such a mess. I want to see it really come together, and I know it's going to take time, um, but I want to see it come together in a nice way. Oh, they didn't like I'm having crypto. Oh, that's wild. I had a feeling it had to do with the cryptocurrency. I had a feeling. Odyssey is a. I know what Odyssey is. Rumble is a streamer platform. YouTube is the only one that integrates both successfully with the search engine. Yes, and that's unfortunate because um, what's unfortunate is the. I don't even remember. I lost my train of thought. Shit. This the Drinker's short film. I watched the first 5 minutes of it because it was at like 1 o'clock last night, but I'm gonna watch it today, and I'm gonna probably give my take on it. I would love to see. I read his book. I read his first book. I would love to see like good spy thrillers again. I would love to see that. But the intro was pretty tight. I thought it was like essentially. I thought it was going to be like a teaser. I didn't realize it was going to be like a short film. That's crazy. But it's good to see proof of concept. I don't watch gaming streams. It just reminds me of how much time I didn't have to play it. But it's good to see Rumble at least trying to move away from strictly politics. Yeah, they definitely need it. Hey, Mephisto, what's up, brother? Big shout out to Mephisto. It's solid, a bit cliche, but solid. Oh boy, I can't wait to rip into that. Everyone loved my Alien Romulus take, so I'm gonna make sure I'm fair in my criticism of Rogue Elements. Don't you worry. Alien Romulus was a good film. You should go watch it. And I don't care what any supposed critic has to say. It was good. Bro, that movie, the sound design alone in Alien Romulus was fantastic. Fan fucking tastic. It was so incredibly well done. Was Joker 2? Joker 2 Joker 2 is a great film if it's in fact true that it was Todd Phillips's middle finger to Hollywood. If that is in fact true, it was brilliantly done. If it was him unironically making a movie, then it was bad. So here's the thing. But here's the thing with that, like with Alien Romulus, and what I'll say, like as a just a prelude to the video I put out for it, is that creature was absolutely terrifying. There were elements of it that I thought were kind of dumb, but I like there's a missing element to this. Like there's still another film to sort of round out the black goo element of everything. Because like essentially is like they're almost like reverse engineering the engineers. Both are on the honorable mentions of my top 5 bad list for this year. It's not bad. That movie was not bad. I mean, yeah. So there's another video that I'm working on. I'm conceptualizing in my head that people like need to understand. Like there's actual like issues with the movie Alien. I was watching it last night and I was like, how convenient. How convenient. And yet we glaze over these things because we like it's such a great movie. And Alien is a great movie. But there's always an excuse to be made for how this thing is done or how this thing is done. I was even watching Home Alone and I was like, holy shit, like when you really look at these things from like even a storytelling or even continuity way, everything falls apart. The finale in Romulus hit different for me when I learned that the giant baby monster was a real dude in a costume. Yeah, that thing was terrifying. Like I was like visibly uncomfortable. Like I was like it was terrifying. Like in some ways terrifying. It was 5 out of 10, and so was Joker 2. However, I only make lists of movies I actually seen. That's fair. Yeah, the final act of both. Prometheus was a bit different. Aliens is greater than Aliens, which is greater than Alien 3. Alien 3 is just a very sad. Alien 3 is just a really sad story because it was never supposed to be that. There's a whole script sort of lost to time that they were supposed to make and they didn't. Yeah, I'm gonna go see Gladiator 2 as well. But I get disappointed with people who think that like all these movies are just infallible. Like they can do no wrong. There are issues with the original Alien and even Aliens. Um, Even Aliens is like guilty of being a bit like derivative in certain aspects. It's upheld by like some really great acting. Um, but there's issues with it that like and my point is not to say that those movies are bad. The point is that you can easily make excuses for things when you really look for them. Like and then you can also complain about things when you're just like looking to nitpick on a particular thing. Which that sucks. Like I mean, and in some ways it's like how people have like forgotten to really enjoy just like watching movies. Exactly, Mike. Exactly. And here's my other thing, and this is a bit not well, another point that I intend to make is that most people who watch a movie are going to watch it a single time and they won't pick it up for several months or even a year plus later. Like so often when people watch a movie 3, 4, 5 times to like write a review and really like drill down into the lore. Most people aren't viewing movies like this. They view it once, and the initial feeling that hits is often the better indicator of something. Um, you know, I don't know how the majority of people liked. I mean, that's most normies, but for me, it was a very interesting. It was a very interesting addition to the story that I didn't think was so entirely contrived, and I thought did a better job at trying to pull the strings together between the other prequels and Alien. If I look at my entire list, good plus bad, I've only seen 13 new movies this year. Yeah, I've really kind of slumped this year on seeing new things. You find problems in Lord of the Rings, but the difference is that those issues are overshadowed by the total exemplar experience. Yeah, yeah. I was and this is one thing. This is the last thing I'll say really about Romulus is that I really enjoyed. I did enjoy the character Andy. Like I know people kept there's a criticism that he just sucks, but I thought he was a really interesting addition to it. Um, the idea of it being an older model and then integrating with Rook. Like I thought that was a cool story element, like sort of battling with directives, because other other movies have played with the idea of like one directive being overwritten by another and then sort of battling that, and in some sort of like human element. So because even what's his name, Bishop, in Aliens, like he ultimately sides with the humans and helps, and even though like he disappears for a little bit, there's like you think, oh god, he abandoned them, but he comes back, and but it's all for good reason. In a lot of like, and this had like many similar instances where a crew member doesn't trust an android because like and I don't think that this is such a contrived thing or even like necessarily derivative, because in a world that has androids everywhere, right, that they are near human looking, like replicant like level, right, that well, and this is a separate point, but Blade Runner and Alien share the same universe. Anyways, but it would stand to reason that sometimes these androids would be cold and calculating and their decision making. So it again stands to reason that at some point people would be fucked over by androids, especially in a world like this where you're spacefaring civilization. Something's going to happen. We got to save a bunch of people. Oh, the calculation was I got to save these people. If I save those people, they're dead. So then those people harbor resentment. It's not far fetched to think that would happen. And I'm sick of people pretending that it's not. 27 years ago, Alien Resurrection was released. Poor Alien Resurrection. All right, guys, thank you very much for watching my conversation about Dr. Disrespect and Rumble, and then a quick preview into my mind as far as Alien and Alien Romulus goes. I really appreciate y'all. It's been great. Good conversation today, but I got to get doing a couple things, and I got a meeting I got to get to for 10 o'clock. So love y'all. Be good. I'll see you tomorrow night. We're probably going to be talking movies tomorrow night, and I'm going to be making the video. Yes, sir. Deus Ex Human Revolution is amazing. That is an amazing video game. All right, guys. Check y'all later.